too few boats. There are only 2 boats working this area. I'm told that the New Orleans police put out a call to all its officers saying, if you have a boat, bring it here, help us. But the officers who have boats cannot get to them in many cases because the roads are flooded to their homes. And so I just saw some people bring in jet skis. They are going out on jet skis to try and rescue these people. There's one story that there's an officer up on this bridge, and his mother is stranded in one of the homes that we can see from here. I can't imagine what that would be like.
Haiti, the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, has been hit by a major earthquake. The epicenter of the quake was around 10 miles from the capital, Port-au-Prince. The quake measured 7 on the Richter scale, a magnitude which is capable of causing widespread and heavy damage. Eyewitnesses in the city said that buildings shook violently. Then screams were heard as walls started to collapse, burying people under the rubble. One of the buildings affected is said to be a hospital. There are also reports tonight that the presidential palace has been heavily damaged. Roads have been blocked by debris, making rescue missions difficult, and night has now fallen. Reaching the island by...
This is a dangerous... It was an 8.8 earthquake. Talking about 8.8, guys. We're talking about a 7.0 in Haiti. An 8.8 is from 7.0 to 8.0, 32 times stronger. 8.0 to 9.0, another 32 times. Okay, so we didn't get all the way to 9.0. You do that multiplication. From 7.0 to 9.0 is 1,000 times stronger earthquake. This thing is somewhere in the neighborhood of 600, 700, 800 times stronger than the Haitian earthquake. Luckily, it was underwater. That's the good news. Bad news, it was underwater. So now we have a Pacific-wide tsunami.
Landslides triggered by torrential rains in China have claimed hundreds of lives and forced thousands of people from their homes. Areas along the Yangtze River have been badly hit, putting huge pressure on the 4-year-old Three Gorges Dam, where water levels are at record highs.
This is the force of China's flood season. House after house.
In this video, you can see the earth shaking as a 7.2 magnitude earthquake rocks Japan. The country's northern region has reportedly been hit hardest, and deaths have been reported. Dozens of people are injured or missing.
The damage reports are gradually getting bigger with time. Government agencies and the police force on the field are closely communicating to get as much information as possible.
A Japanese TV network recorded this video as the quake rocked their broadcast complex.
This is Joplin, Missouri, after a massive tornado tore a 6-mile path across the city. Daylight revealing what is left of a hospital.
Can't control nature, but we can and must be prepared for a devastation that can come at a moment's notice.
July 1976. Strange, unexplained blackouts in worldwide communications plagued the globe. Ham radio operators all over the U.S. are picking up seemingly random, unknown radio signals. It's causing static interference with radio, television, and even telephone transmissions all across North America.
This signal was a tapping that would go for like 10 beats and then stop for a bit, and 10 beats and stop for a bit.
U.S. scientists discovered the cryptic signal is coming from the Soviet Union. They assign it an innocuous name.
It was called the Russian woodpecker because it was the Russians that were creating this signal, and the sound that the ham operators heard was essentially that sort of clicking, pecking sound.
Here is an actual tape recording of the mysterious signal. Satellite photos reveal the Russians have secretly constructed a gigantic radio transmitter and are covertly transmitting extremely low-frequency waves, otherwise known as ELF waves, into the atmosphere over North America. The Russians would continue beaming this signal until at least 1989, the last time they were detected. But why? Between the years of 1988 and 1992, during the California drought, an anomaly occurs in the jet stream. The winds appear to change direction, blowing east to west instead of west to east, indicating the jet stream coming into the west is suddenly much weaker than normal, causing a drought. By 1995, the jet stream returns to normal. The Soviets deny any involvement in weather warfare. Still, believers feel that denial is not surprising. In fact, it's expected.
One of the significant elements of weather warfare is the plausible deniability angle to it. You can't really attribute it to anyone at all because you don't know if it's just the weather or if it's some more sinister military application that you're being subjected to.
If you can trigger nature to do the work for you, you can raise covert wars, which our country and many others are famous for, and yet have the deniability that goes along with it.
Weather experts from NOAA and from the National Weather Service can't explain why the jet stream anomaly occurred. Perhaps it's all just a part of Mother Nature's unpredictable ebbs and flows. Still, it's no coincidence that the United States began building its own mysterious array of antennas in February 1992. They are located in Gakona, Alaska. The project is called HAARP.
HAARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Project, originally a joint effort of the Air Force and Navy in cooperation with a number of academic institutions.
It is today the world's largest radio broadcasting station, but it's not designed to broadcast for human ears. It uses a unique patented ability to focus the energy coming out of the antenna field and injects that energy into a spot at the very top of the atmosphere in a region called the ionosphere.
HAARP is comprised of 180 antennas, approximately 72 feet tall, linked together to function as one giant steerable antenna. Steerable because it can aim millions of watts of ELF waves into one tiny patch of the atmosphere.
The amount of energy we're talking about here is 3.6 million watts. To give you an idea of what that is, the largest legal AM radio station in North America is 50,000 watts. HAARP is 72,000 50,000 watt radio stations injecting their entire output into a spot that's about 12 miles across by about 2.5 miles deep by about 90 miles up.
This is where HAARP is pointing. It's an area located roughly 300 miles from Anchorage. The U.S. military says HAARP is merely being used to study the physical and electrical properties and behavior of the ionosphere for both civilian and defense purposes. But another theory has surfaced. The intense energy being beamed into the sky by HAARP is actually heating up the atmosphere, causing weather changes.
HAARP is being used for weather modification. The military's own record proves it. They've admitted it within their own documents, and yet they still deny it to the public.
Nikola Tesla was an eccentric genius and was widely seen as the great rival to Thomas Edison.
Around 1891, Tesla invented the type of towering transformer coils still in use today to generate high voltage currents for studying electricity. It was Tesla who developed alternating current, the electrical current that we use to power our homes and appliances. It was also Tesla who put man on his quest to control the weather. He developed a chilling theory for controlling the weather using extremely low-frequency waves, or ELF waves. If you've been to a rock concert and felt the low-frequency vibrations of the music pounding from the speakers, ELF waves are similar to that. ELF waves are low-level electrical currents that are discarded from electrical power lines, electrical wirings in our homes, even electrical equipment in our cars. These are normally emitted at levels so low that they won't harm you. Tesla theorized that if ELF waves could be beamed into the ionosphere, in the upper reaches of the atmosphere, man could change the course of weather. The ELF waves would create heat, altering the molecular structure of the ionosphere, pushing it out into space.
When you heat a certain region of the ionosphere, it literally pushes it up and creates what would look like a column of space, and the lower atmosphere then rushes in to fill that space, and as it does, it changes the flow of jet streams within the region, pressure systems, and in that respect, it could manipulate weather.
What this means is the heated ionosphere acts like a giant dam, rerouting the path of the jet stream. The jet stream flows between 6 and 9 miles above the Earth's surface and reaches speeds up to 300 miles per hour.
The jet stream is a focused, high-velocity rope of air that moves billions of gallons of water around our world, like a giant river at 50, 60,000 feet up. It moves all the water around our world for rain, for storms. This is the lifeblood of planet Earth.
Could Tesla's theories help create a new generation of covert weather weapons?
It was the Russians that were creating this signal.
Perhaps it's already here.